Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to talk about what we're doing in the Show Me State to encourage more Missourians, and especially young people, to take advantage of the great outdoors. Some of my earliest and best childhood memories are of me standing with my father in a chilly Ozark stream with a fly rod. Later in life, my wife Georgianne and I made sure that our kids grew up to appreciate the outdoors, whether it was hiking, canoeing, or just playing a game of catch. In the Show Me State, we're blessed with an abundance of outdoor treasures, from spring-fed lakes and riverways to rugged hills and rolling prairies. And as governor, I've worked to honor and enhance this treasured outdoor heritage. When I took office in 2009, state park attendance had been on the decline for nearly a decade. I was determined to reverse this trend. So we worked to improve and add to our system of 87 parks and historic sites, and I personally visited every one of them in a single year. In 2010, I established the State Parks Youth Corps, modeled after the Civilian Conservation Corps of the 1930s. This program hires young people to work in our state parks and historic sites. They paint buildings, pull weeds, guide tours, and clear trails. These young people gain valuable job skills while having a rewarding experience that they'll always remember. In 2013, Missouri was named the best trail state in the country. To celebrate this award and to encourage even more Missourians to get out and enjoy the outdoors, the First Lady and I organized the 100 Missouri Miles Challenge. We challenged Missourians to join us in running, walking, biking, paddling, and rolling at least 100 miles in a year, and the response has been outstanding. To date, more than 24,000 people have logged nearly 3.5 million miles, and they're still going. This year, we celebrated the Great Outdoors Month with the first ever Governor's Capital Campout at the end of May. This event brought together families from throughout our state, many of whom had never been camping before, to learn outdoor skills that they can use and enjoy for a lifetime. It was a memorable experience for everyone involved, and I want to thank the American Recreation Coalition, Coleman, and our good friends at Bass Pro Shops for making it possible. Great Outdoors Month calls attention to the fun and exciting real-world adventures that can only be experienced by spending time outdoors. All the hard work we've done together is paying off in a big way. Today, I'm proud to report that park attendance is back on the rise, hitting a record 18.5 million visits in Missouri just last year. Working together, we can ensure that our outdoor heritage grows stronger every year, and that these special places we cherish will be protected and accessible to all Americans for generations to come. Thank you for joining me in this effort and for all that you do to promote and protect our great outdoors. Have a great conference.
And it is great to work for a guy like Jay Nixon. Several years ago, we scheduled a cabinet meeting at Roaring River State Park, and the night before the cabinet meeting, we went to a National Wild Turkey Federation banquet. We were coming back in late, and it was really quiet, but he had never seen the lodge. We had a cabin for him, and he said, I want to see the lodge. It's a really spectacular facility. And as we're walking in the lodge door, he's going 90 miles a minute, and he says, Bill, sometimes I wish I had your job. And I said, Governor, sometimes it feels like you do have my job. He tells me that's going to be in the book, so that's my brush with Governor Nixon's fame. But it is good to have support from the top, and I want to thank the support from the top we get in Missouri from the American Recreation Coalition and Derek, a great friend and supporter of things we're trying to do to remain relevant for a new generation of Americans and Missourians to find opportunities in the outdoors where they may never have had those kind of experiences before. We just did have a big event that went really well. There was a lot of rain on and off, and yet the people kept coming. We had activities with long lines and just torrential downpours that lasted 15 or 20 minutes, and people stayed in line with their kids because they didn't want to give up that opportunity to try their hand at a new activity. We're estimating that despite the weather, We partnered with the city and had a kids fest and outdoor days at the Capitol, and then that evening the Capitol camp out. We had about 5,000 people visit for the outdoor days event, and we had 91 people, 50 kids and 41 parents, who attended the overnight Capitol camp out on the Capitol complex. So we were really excited. Governor Nixon was thrilled. All of our partners were thrilled, and in a couple of weeks we're going to have our planning meeting to plan next year's event to make it even bigger and better. But let's start with telling you a little bit about the event. Well, this is kind of a story. After a long day, I'd been there since near dawn, and rain was on and off, and it was a long day, and that evening everybody had fun. I was really tired. My staff had made it real clear to me that I didn't need to spend the night, that they would be just fine taking care of the campers if I didn't spend the night. So I headed home, got home about 9:30, walked in the door. My wife said, how'd it go? My wife's also a parks person, got her parks degree in '85 from the University of Missouri. And I said, well, and this is exactly what I said, and you'll appreciate it if you're an outdoors person. I said, well, other than a little problem between a clown and a buzzard from West Africa, it was a pretty good day. And I'll tell you more about that because it really happened. But we had a wide variety of activities to make sure that people enjoy things. This is our setting. We're in the capital city, Jefferson City, Missouri, right in the center of the state. We're on the banks of the Missouri River. The Ozarks are below, glaciated plains above the river, north of the river. And Jefferson Land and State Historic Site, this is the site of the first settlement and buildings in Jefferson City, and the Capitol is right there. But we set up our tent city on the lawn of the landing. That's Oracle. Oracle is an auger buzzard. Is an auger buzzard from West Africa, which, buzzard, I think of a turkey vulture or a black vulture or something like that, but an auger buzzard is actually a bird of prey, so he's a pretty fierce critter. And we also had Camo the clown. Camo was great. The kids loved him. I'd never seen Camo before, and I wasn't sure what to expect, but, our friends at Bass Pro said he's great, and he gave away so many rods and reels to kids you couldn't believe it. But he was a great entertainer and with a conservation message. But he had those plush toys hanging around his waders, And Oracle, the buzzard, really, really thought that looked pretty good. So Oracle's from the World Bird Sanctuary, which is in Castlewood State Park. They're one of our tenants. They're there, and in exchange for us giving them their location, they provide programs for us around the state, which I think is important. Even though we don't have a bird like Oracle in Missouri, other than at a zoo or the World Bird Sanctuary, it's an opportunity for people to engage with the outdoors and entertain and educate them and connect them with conservation and be relevant. Because it's exciting, because what we do is in a room like this or outdoors, Oracle flies through the room. And he swoops down and people's heads are brushed by his wingtips. And they have a variety of birds that they fly, and Oracle's one of the stars of the show because he's one of the biggest birds that flies during the shows. And the first show, Camo was out there wandering around. Oracle really wanted to get him, so they didn't let him fly. So we said, Camo, can you go back behind the King of Bucks truck and kind of hide or something? And he said, sure. Let Oracle fly. First thing he did was fly up, and he found Camo. And he went straight to him, and he roosted there until 5:45 the next morning. So when I went to bed that night, I thought we were going to have a buzzard from West Africa loose in Jefferson City, in the capital city. But the next morning, he did come down, and all was well for Camo and for Oracle. But it entertained everybody, and that's one of the reasons we partner with the World Bird Sanctuary. BB gun shooting range, air guns, not traditionally a state park kind of deal. You don't shoot firearms in a state park in Missouri without my written permission. That's what the state law says. However, this is appealing to kids. The lines were huge. One of our great partners is the Missouri Conservation Commission. Missouri is the first state in the country to have a dedicated sales tax for conservation, the first state in the country to have a dedicated sales tax for state parks, and the only state in the country to have a dedicated sales tax that supports both forest, fish, and wildlife and state parks and public lands. So it's a great partnership for us, and even though we're state parks, we had the BB guns, we had archery, Hunger Games is huge, obviously. The archery lines were long. Kids had fun, and that's the main thing. Giving kids opportunities to have fun in the outdoors. If they enjoy shooting a BB gun, they might enjoy paddling a kayak too. So we had other opportunities, casting competitions. We had fly casting and spin casting that we worked with Sage and Rio and Reddington, had a trailer on site for people to try different things, and adults loved that too. I was disappointed I didn't have enough time to try my hand. We also had the RV Dealers Association provided a really nice unit for people to see how you can live camping. If you're interested and you've never camped, here's your opportunity to walk through a really nice big unit and enjoy it. In the background there you see the King of Bucks truck, which has the 25 of the biggest whitetails in North America that have been harvested legally, and really a remarkable thing. Again, not a big state park deal. We don't allow hunting in state parks in Missouri except for one park. We have managed hunts, but people are interested. It's relevant, and in Missouri, this is a big deal. People want to see big deer. So we had the King of Buck trucks out. And you can see the climbing wall. We got some more images of that coming up. Happy families, smiling kids. Awnings on a camper are a great way to get out of the rain, too. So that was popular. But people really enjoyed seeing and experiencing things that they maybe had never experienced before. And that was possible through partnerships, not only with American Recreation Coalition, but with great sponsors like Bass Pro Shops and Coleman, but the RV Dealers Association were integral to the success of what we tried to do. Kayak pool, huge hit, probably the biggest hit of the event. We've already decided the next year we're going to have two, because the lines were enormous to get kids through the kayak pool, and parents. And we've got parents and kids in boats together. But a lot of fun. That's the Missouri Supreme Court in the background, and the Capitol is on the other side of that image, just to the north of the kayak pool. But this was during we had a public event all day, and then in the evening we had a special event for the Capitol campers only, so that they had an opportunity to try all the activities on their own without the big lines. But huge hit. Kayaking is the fastest growing outdoor sport in Missouri. A lot of Ozark streams, a lot of flat water paddling is developing on our core reservoirs. And it was a great opportunity for outdoor retailers. Bass Pro Shops brand of boats is Ascend in their outdoor equipment, so they were able to showcase some of their equipment. So it's a good partnership that's mutually beneficial for everybody. Where can you get a boat like this that you tried at Outdoor Days? You just go up the road to the Bass Pro Shops. Pump Track. American Ramp Company is the world's largest manufacturer, designer manufacturer of skate parks and pump tracks and mountain bike trail features. And they're from Missouri. They're from Joplin, Missouri. The tornado that went through Joplin just missed them. And we partner with Progressive Trail Design and Progressive Bike Ramps and American Ramp Company on a variety of projects. We don't have skate parks, but we do have pump tracks. This is a pump track called the Lumberjack that is specifically designed to be taken down, stored in a trailer, and you can haul it to events or whatever. We have concrete pump tracks at Finger Lake State Park as a trailhead amenity at a mountain bike trail system that allows people to spread the use on the trail. And out around the outside of the pump track, we'll have an obstacle course that's similar to a trials course for mountain biking, but not as good as the guys you see on YouTube, but fun stuff, teeter-totters, bridges, and interesting features that we're beginning to install on trails around our mountain bike trail system, which is pretty darn good. But kids love it, adults are fascinated by it, and it's not as dangerous as it looks. Again, not for everybody, but it appeals to kids that otherwise might not go, and if we get them to the trailhead, we're going to get them on the trail. And if we get them on the trail, we're going to get them to come back. Scott Pauley is Missouri's official state-sponsored bass fisherman, a professional bass fisherman. He's fished Bassmasters, FLW, everything. He's a good friend. And so since he's state-sponsored, Scott brought his boat out, and kids always love a boat, too. It's a great playground. Since it was raining, I would give Scott a pass because his contract requires him to keep that boat wiped down. But since it was raining, I guess that's okay. We set up our showmobile right in front of the Capitol steps with Thomas Jefferson looking over the top, over these kids having a great time. The camo is entertaining, and the kids just, when he really got them going, all those kids filtered down to the front. The one thing that was kind of challenging is there were so many activities going on The stage events were not as popular as they would have been otherwise, I think. So I don't know next year if we'll do the stage events or not. Probably we will, but it was about the activities more than it was the entertainment. We had some music and some old-timey stuff and the bird show, World Bird Sanctuary and camo, and a few other things that were a lot of fun. But rainy, not much fun to sit on hay bales when you can go climb a climbing wall. The Boy Scouts participated. They did a geocaching and orienteering program that people really liked, that maybe weren't familiar with geocaching or orienteering at all, but the Scouts helped them. And if you found all the locations, you got a prize. It was very successful. Scouts also brought out their innovation lab. This is a $1 million trailer that's funded by a venture capitalist from Missouri who is a very generous philanthropist. And it provides opportunities that are really interesting that you wouldn't typically find at a scout camp or in outdoor days. But again, if you're relevant and you attract somebody, you can pull the old bait and switch. Once you get somebody in, they're looking at the 3D printer and all the neat high-tech stuff, pretty soon they realize, hey, there's a connection to the outdoors. That message is there. And this debate about technology and how you get connected to the outdoors, I think that is irrelevant because we're here and it's the 21st century and we got to reach people where they're at. And if they got their head in their phones or their tablets, we got to be there. And then we can get them to look up and enjoy the real world in addition to a virtual world. But, kind of a nerdy scout. When I was an Eagle Scout, I wasn't that nerdy, but I also wasn't that cool because today nerdy is cool. And so we can get kids to be cool and spend time outdoors with a variety of attractions with the bait and switch. Governor Nixon and the First Lady, Georgianne Nixon, attended during the day. Mrs. Nixon actually came down the day before because we had a Mountain Man rendezvous camp. She learned how to start a fire with flint and char cloth and was pretty excited about that, really enjoyed it. And so she came on all 3 days of the event. We had the Mountain Men set up on Thursday night at the Jefferson Landing State Historic Site. She was there for that. The governor and First Lady were supposed to come at 5 o'clock. They couldn't stay away. They heard all the new activity and they showed up as a surprise at about noon, I guess, and spent a couple hours wandering around and doing the whole meet and greet. As you all know, that when these folks go out in public, it can be kind of trying. And they couldn't stay away. They didn't have to be there, but they couldn't stay away. So it was great. But the governor addressed the crowd that evening and kind of shared his message, very similar to what you heard today. I'm real proud he's wearing one of our uniform. He really likes our uniform, so I got to keep him stocked with gear whenever he goes out and makes an appearance. We've got a vest for him that actually we put governor in bigger letters than the Missouri State Parks thing, and he really likes that. He had that on. I don't know if you noticed or not, but he had that on for his afternoon walk. He's serious and sincere about the outdoors. Kayak pool, again, you can get some hint of the line. You can see that water's not water that splashed out of the kayak pool. That came from Mother Nature. But people had a great time. Okay, this is what it's all about. We've got on the far left, Martin McDonald, the Director of Conservation for Bass Pro Shops, Sarah Parker Pauley, the Director of the Department of Natural Resources, and that tall guy, that's me from State Parks, the Governor and the First Lady, and then to the left of the Governor, the far right side of the image, is Dave Murphy, one of our Conservation Commissioners, and longtime director, prior to that, longtime director of the Conservation Federation of Missouri. So we've represented the Conservation Agency, Forest, Fish, and Wildlife, the Natural Resources, Regulatory, the EPA type agency, state parks, a conservation retail partner, outdoor industry partner, and our elected officials. And then the guy with the dark glasses in the back is part of the governor's security detail. So, and he even had fun. Everybody else smiled, but they had fun too. They like going on these things. We went on a couple of years ago, this is real quick, but a couple of years ago, I guess about 5 years ago, we went on a canoe trip down the current river through the Ozark National Scenic Riverways with the governor and a big party to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Governor Hadley's float trip down the current river to draw attention to tourism in the Ozarks and floating in the Ozarks and the opportunity there. And when we did that, the security guys, oh yeah, we know how to do this. Oh yeah, we know how to do this. So the Governor and First Lady pushed off, and I had a novice with me, and the security guys, they were ready to go, and I swear, they didn't even get one paddle stroke. They swamped their boat instantly at the put-in. And I'm like, what do I do? And they said, go with the governor. So I'm paddling with a guy in the front of the boat who had his, Mae West life jacket on and was kind of nervous. And I'm paddling really hard, get up to the governor first, and I said, "Governor, I think we better pull over. Security detail had a problem." I saw him kind of turn his head and listen, and he just kept paddling. He ignored me. I thought, "Oh, crap." Well, we get a little further down the road and down the stream, and I said, "Governor, I really think we need to stop. Let's pull over and fish or something." And he thought for a second, but he reluctantly did. Those guys swamped twice on that trip. But I mean, they literally didn't get off the bank before they swamped. But so the next float trip we did, we had guys who actually knew how to paddle a canoe. So. Love this image. The climbing wall was a big hit. It was even a big hit with the governor. He was just fascinated with the auto belay function that allows anybody from 260 pounds to a small child to climb this wall safely with a hydraulic belay that you can install anywhere, any place at any time and have instant fun and a connection to the outdoors. And if you can climb a wall, you can climb a rock. And you just need to get started and get some safety and get some instruction. But again, getting people engaged and having fun. And it looks pretty good next to the Capitol. That's Ceres, the goddess of agriculture, on the top of the Capitol. Missouri's a big ag and outdoor tourism state. And the young lady right here, Camp Like a Girl, Troop 1503. So we had the Girl Scouts out enjoying the day as well. Here we are at Jefferson Landing State Historic Site at the end of the outdoor days, and right as the Capitol Campout was getting started, we'd helped everybody get their tents set up, getting ready to have dinner, and that's Derek Crandall, Martin McDonald, and I celebrating a great partnership of national, international retail, and state park agency. So we were really proud to have everyone visit us in Jefferson City. We've had the state parks in Missouri for 98 years. And for 98 years, the message on the back of our sign has always been, "You are always welcome in Missouri State Parks." And we feel that way still today. And it was great to have Derek and Martin and others there. It was open to everybody. We had people from every corner of the state who participated in the Capitol Campout and had a great time. Most of them had never camped before at all, not even in the backyard. So we literally, everybody participated in setting up tents. Everybody participated in activities that we did. When we came time to break down the tent, they did it by themselves. We broke down one tent as a group. Everybody watched, and then they were on their own. And it went really, really well. I was impressed. People were paying attention. They were excited about it. We're already getting a lot of inquiries from people about how do we get started? Okay, we've got a little bit of skills, but how do we get started? The evening entertainment was we had Liz Morianda, who is a Missouri girl, but she's just released a single. She's got her video all about the bass. Has 8 million views on YouTube, and she's just released a single out of Nashville. Beautiful voice. She came and entertained the crowd with some campfire songs of her own, and finished with some John Denver. Made me happy. And then we also heard from Ralph Duran, who is he's been on the Tonight Show, and he's a Missouri guy. Used to be a nuisance wildlife control officer for the Department of Conservation, and he does animal sounds like you can't believe, and really kind of introduced people to the sounds that we're going to hear that night, even in the city. This is what you're going to hear, and this is what it is. And he also had some fun telling some stories, and was a great entertainer. And so people had a nice campfire experience, rounded out, of course, with s'mores. And we are really looking forward to having the event next year, and I really appreciate the opportunity, Derek, to come and share our story. And on behalf of Governor Nixon, thank you for what you're doing to promote America's state parks and Missouri state parks and our outdoor legacy and heritage. Thank you.